Elon Musk stands alone at the very top of global wealth, having achieved something no human ever had before. In June 2026, when his rocket company SpaceX went public in the largest stock market debut in history, Musk officially became the first trillionaire the world has ever seen, his fortune briefly soaring past negative $16.4 trillion. As of early July, his wealth hovers right around the trillion-dollar mark, still by far the largest on the planet. His riches come mainly from his enormous stake in SpaceX, along with the electric car maker Tesla and his other ventures. To put his fortune in perspective, Musk is now worth more than 3.5 times as much as the second richest person alive. Born in South Africa and now based in Texas, he has held the title of world's richest person since 2024, and his lead has only grown. Larry Page, the co-founder of Google, has rocketed up the wealth rankings to become the second richest person on Earth. As of early July 2026, his fortune sits just under $300 billion, an astonishing sum that has roughly doubled in about a year. The surge came as the stock of Google's parent company soared on excitement about its artificial intelligence products. Page, who started Google with a fellow Stanford student back in 1998, remains a controlling shareholder and board member, even though he stepped back from day-to-day duties years ago. Earlier in 2026, he became only the third person in history to be worth more than $300 billion. Remarkably, just a year earlier, he had ranked only 7th in the world. His swift climb shows just how powerfully the AI boom has reshaped the fortunes of the technology elite. Sergey Brin, the other co-founder of Google, holds the number 3 spot among the world's wealthiest, right alongside his longtime partner. As of early July 2026, Brin is worth somewhere around $276 billion, a fortune built on the same Google empire he helped create. Like his co-founder, Brin came out of semi-retirement to help steer the company's push into artificial intelligence, and his wealth has climbed dramatically as a result. Born in Moscow, before his family moved to the United States, Brin met his future business partner while both were pursuing doctorates at Stanford University. Together, they turned a research project into one of the most valuable companies in the world. For much of the past year, the two founders have traded places near the top of the list, their fortunes rising and falling together with the company they built side by side decades ago. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, remains one of the wealthiest people alive, sitting 4th on the global list. As of early July 2026, his fortune stands at around $254 billion, an empire that began when he started selling books out of his garage in the 1990s. Bezos grew Amazon into a retail and technology giant that reshaped how the world shops, and he still owns a sizable slice of it. Though he handed over the chief executive role years ago, he remains its executive chairman. Beyond Amazon, he pours energy and money into his space company, Blue Origin, and has recently launched a new artificial intelligence venture. For several years, Bezos held the top spot as the richest person in the world, before being overtaken. Now based in Florida, he stands as one of the defining business figures of the modern age. Michael Dell has staged one of the most dramatic comebacks on the entire wealth list, surging back into the top 5. As of early July 2026, the computer magnate is worth around $228 billion, a fortune that has climbed sharply thanks to the artificial intelligence boom. His company, Dell Technologies, saw its stock soar as demand exploded for the powerful servers needed to run AI systems, with that part of the business growing at a breathtaking pace. Dell famously founded the company from his university dorm room in the 1980s, building computers to order, and he still owns a large stake as its chairman and chief executive. Just a year ago, he had actually dropped out of the top 10 entirely. His rapid return is one of the standout wealth stories of the year, powered almost entirely by the global rush toward AI. Mark Zuckerberg, the co-founder of Facebook, ranks 6th among the world's richest, commanding a vast technology fortune. As of early July 2026, his wealth sits at around $206 billion, tied to his sizable ownership of Meta, the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Zuckerberg created the social network from his college dormitory in 2004, and it grew into one of the most influential companies on the planet. His fortune has been unusually bumpy of late, swinging by tens of billions of dollars as investors react to the company's heavy spending on artificial intelligence. At just 42 years old, he is comfortably the youngest member of the top 10, a reminder of how quickly he rose to the summit of global business. Now among the most recognizable figures in technology, he continues to steer his company through a period of enormous change. Larry E. Ellison, the co-founder of the software company Oracle, holds one of the most volatile fortunes in the world, currently ranking 7th. As of early July 2026, he is worth around $188 billion, though that figure has been on a genuine roller coaster. In late 2025, Ellison briefly became the second person ever to be worth more than $400 billion, coming within touching distance of the top spot, after Oracle's stock enjoyed its biggest single-day jump in decades. Then, the share price tumbled, wiping out an enormous chunk of his wealth in a matter of weeks. Now in his 80s, Ellison has been a titan of the technology world for decades, and he even owns most of a Hawaiian island. Few fortunes on this list rise and fall as dramatically as his, a direct reflection of Oracle's dizzying ups and downs. Jensen Huang, the leader of the chipmaker Nvidia, has become one of the biggest winners of the artificial intelligence era, ranking 8th in the world. As of early July 2026, he is worth around $169 billion, appearing among the 10 richest for the first time. His company designs the powerful computer chips that make modern AI possible, and demand for them has been so intense that Nvidia became the first company in history to be valued at $5 trillion. Huang co-founded the business back in 1993 and has led it ever since, still owning roughly 3% of it. Born in Taiwan, he moved to the United States as a boy. His rise perfectly captures the AI gold rush, where the companies supplying the essential tools have seen their value and their founders' fortunes reach truly staggering new heights. Bernard Arnault stands out on the list as the single member who is not from the United States, ranking 9th in the world. As of early July 2026, the French businessman is worth around $150 billion, a fortune built not on technology, but on luxury. Arnault leads LVMH, the world's largest luxury goods empire, which owns more than 75 famous brands, including Louis Vuitton, Dior, and the jeweler Tiffany. He took control of the group decades ago and transformed it into a global powerhouse of fashion and style. His wealth has softened somewhat recently as demand for luxury goods cooled, and he briefly slipped out of the top 10 before bouncing back. For stretches of recent years, he was actually the richest person in the world. All 5 of his children work within the family business he built. Warren Buffett, the legendary investor known as the Oracle of Omaha, has climbed back into the top 10, sitting 10th as of early July 2026. His fortune stands at around $149 billion, almost entirely tied to Berkshire Hathaway, the investment company he built over 6 decades into a giant worth more than $1 trillion. At the age of 95, Buffett stepped down as chief executive at the end of 2025, handing the reins to his chosen successor, though he stays on as chairman. He rejoined the top 10 in July after his company's stock rose, edging out a former Microsoft leader. Remarkably, Buffett has already given away tens of billions of dollars to charity over his lifetime and has pledged to donate almost all of his fortune. Even so, his enormous stake keeps him among the 10 richest people alive.